All right. All right. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Okay. How's the audio? Can everyone hear me? Audio okay? Excellent. How's the vibes? Last lecture for the term. I hope everyone's feeling good. Everyone's getting cooked by the assignment. There were a few changes, a few small changes. They're in the change logs. These changes are nothing. If you were in industry, the changes would be a lot more annoying. They would happen all the time and they would make no logical sense. But you're not. Okay. I'm just going to put it out there because this question has been asked a lot. Yes, Kenneth, legal. If you're using a string to hold a name before you do stuff, you just can't use arrays to solve the logic of the whole situation, but you can use an array string to hold a name of something. So yes. And if anything's not clear, do ask on the forum as well. We are checking the forum and we're checking it a lot over the next week. So all your questions will be answered, I hope. So this week you've got your prac exams as well. I think some of you already had your lab, so you would have seen what the prac exam looks like and logged into the exam environment. So just make sure that you go to the lab and you see what the environment looks like and you do the prac exam. So the prac exam this term is an old exam that we used. So it is exactly what an exam would look like. The format, the structure of it, and the difficulty of the questions is very close to what the actual exam will be. There is, of course, some difference because the questions are not the same, obviously. So there are, little bits and bobs here and there that change, but that's the overall structure and the overall difficulty of that practice exam is as it would be for the real exam. So, yeah, that's that. Okay, any questions at all before we start? I think there's one more. As long as you use arrays for purposes relating to names or checking names, then it'll be fine. Yes, that's correct. So we've added wording to clarify that and to make that explicit. There was wording there before, but it wasn't clear. So we've added wording to clear that up, and I hope it has cleared it up. Okay, and yes, you do get partial marks for partially completing questions 9 or 10 in the exam. Absolutely. Okay, excellent. Let's get started. It is someone has anyway. Okay, let's get started. So today is the last lecture. I actually cannot believe it. Feels like it has just gone past really quickly. Maybe not for you. For you, it feels like it's probably gone forever. But for me, it feels like it's just flown by. Last week we talked about the exam, and that was really distracting as well, because I keep thinking that Bree's calling people bra, which I'm like, really? Are we calling people that? But that's actually someone's name. So, yep, we'll just go with that. If you're not ready for the exam, but you're ready for the term break, this is not the term break. You're going to have to do the exam before you have a term break. And then the term break feels really short, unless all your exams are kind of scattered into a small portion of the exam period, which you also don't want, but then you do want, because you want a break. Anyway, so a few exam style questions. We're going to do a little bit more today. We're going to go through some of those questions that we didn't finish. So the harder array ones, we might do like an array question as well. And then for the last half an hour, we're going to do a Q&A with tutors, like an Ask Me Anything session. So I've got 3 tutors coming in, and they'll be on camera, and you can ask them things, about what courses to choose, how to be a tutor, internships, jobs, you can ask them almost anything. I should have said not just anything, but almost anything. Okay, I think Bree shared the lecture code. Thank you so much to everyone who has been doing the My Experience survey. I think we're at about 55% now completion, which is amazing. I would really love to get to like 65, 70%. And maybe, I don't really know. I never know what to promise people if we do. Open to suggestions. I think previous lecturers have given a tour of their coffee machine. I don't really know why that would be interesting. Also, I don't drink coffee, so that would be really dead and dull for me to do. I was going to play Overcooked with my admins, because then you're allowed to yell at people without any repercussions, but don't know if that's going to happen. So maybe that should be we can have a big game of Overcooked. I don't know. I'm just workshopping ideas. Anyway, My Experience, do it, please. We use the information to improve the course, and it's also amazing. Yay! Okay. Excellent. For the person that asked about Splash Kit, no, Splash Kit is a specific thing to 1511, and it's just for funsies. You will learn other things other than Splash Kit, but it's really just for funsies in 1511. Okay, so let's go to the problem that we stopped with. I've just copied them all over here, and we will go, here it is, an isogram. We kind of finished on that, and then we left the lecture because we had run out of time, because as usual I went on 70 tangents and decided that, good chat. Okay, so I think we should rehash what the problem is. And also, I love to see that everyone, majorly people are ready for this term to finish, which is nice. I think that goes for all your tutors as well. Everyone's ready for this term to finish. Okay, but let's talk about this question that's isogram. I should probably switch screens. Give me a second. There we go. Oh, that's good. How is that not picking up what I'm putting down? Did it do it now? No, it didn't. Why would it? Why would it work? Why would anything work? There we go. I force it to work. Haha. Okay. So, anything that requires harder problem solving is usually a 3-dot question. And because this might require you to do a few things, or it's like a 2.5 dot really, but it kind of saying where in the scheme of things it will go. So this is the first question. That's the first question after the debugging. So question number 9 is kind of usually oriented around a harder movement of strings, or some harder manipulation of strings, or harder manipulation of arrays, which usually involves strings. Okay, so I thought that I could draw up what on earth is going on, and then we can talk about it. So basically an isogram is a word in which no letter of the alphabet occurs more than once, and we have to write a C program that reads in words until Control D and then checks whether that word is an isogram. So when we started our code, we kind of didn't do much. We just read in some word by using fgets, and we found that YouTube censors the word fgets, which is, I wonder if it will censor me as well. Then what we did is we got rid of the new line character at the end of each of the strings. So that means we put the null terminating operator where the new line would be. And that means we don't have to deal with the new line. And then we just check if it's an isogram or not. So if it's an isogram, then we print out that it's an isogram, and if it's not, then it's not. Okay, someone's asked if you get any marks for passing auto tests through hard code. You absolutely do not. If you hard code, you will get 0. I'm going to put it out there. So absolutely not. You have to write code. You have to write logic. You have to do stuff. Okay, so then we went off and we stopped when we started writing this is isogram helper function. So basically, what we're trying to do is we are trying to, for those that don't know what hard code is, it's basically, it's something that you shouldn't do, as Bree said, but it's basically something, if I can see that the function should return 13, then I'm just going to write the numbers. I'm going to have no logic. It's just going to basically print out exactly what it needs to print out. But our marking will catch out any hard coding, and your code will be marked manually, and then you will get 0 for it, okay? So please don't hard code. Really, you should never be hard coding. That's not the point of like learning how to program. The point of learning how to program is learning how to solve problems. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to, let's say we've got an array and the word is cat. So I'm going to say cat, and cat is an isogram because each letter of that word occurs only once. Okay, so if this was my array index, it is called word, this array, and the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so what I want to do, so always helpful before you start coding your answer, always helpful to just draw up what is the question actually asking, okay? So what I want to be doing is I want to look at C, and I want to see, okay, from here on, I want to compare it to the next letter. Are they the same? No. I want to compare it to the next letter. Are they the same? No. So I could do it like that, okay? And then I would have to do another loop inside to compare the other letters. I can also solve it a different way. So there's always a multitude of ways in which I can solve things. The other way that I can potentially solve this is that I can have an array where I will have every single letter of the alphabet accounted for. So however many spots that will be for the English alphabet, 26. And let's say I'm going to hold A, B, C, D, E, F, G, blah, 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 blah. And what I will do is I will go through this word here and I will record each occurrence of each of the letters into its right place in the array. And then I can go through that array, and if anything occurs more than once, then I am not an isogram. But if it all occurs just once, then it's all good. Okay, excellent. So let's do it with our array. Okay, so I'm going to make this array over here that's called int count, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything 0. Okay, so this int count is going to have 26 spaces, and all of those are going to be set to 0. So all of them, I'm ready to start counting, and I'm going to be using the placement of the letter in the alphabet. So letter A is placement 1, letter B is placement 2, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do it up like that to count up whether the letters occur or not. So I've got a counter, and then from that counter, I'm actually going to start kind of going through it first. So if you remember last week, what we did first is so whilst the word I is not equal to the null terminator, so whilst my array of the word is not equal to the null terminator, because I'm going to go through each of the letters and record where they occur. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert each letter to a lowercase character. And the reason for that is, is capital C the same as little c, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to convert them first, and I assume that, yes, it is the same thing because a letter is a letter. It doesn't matter if it's a capital or a little letter. So I'm going to convert everything that comes my way into a lower letter. And to do that, I'm going to take that character, declare a character, call it C, and then I'm going to use the function toLower, which is located in string.h library, and I'm going to put whichever character I'm up to in the word into this character C. So if we start at the beginning, that's going to go, a little c is going to be in char C, and it's going to be a lower letter. Okay, fantastic. Then I'm going to check that it's an alphabetic letter. Okay, so I'm going to check that it is in fact a letter from the alphabet. And if it is, then I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff to it. So first of all, I want to go through the letters. So this is me I'm going to be checking for it. But I've lowered the letter, and then I want to add that letter that I have. So with ignoring this if first, this is going to be on second loop. I shouldn't have put that outline here. So let's say we've got the character now. Let's say it's C. I want the C to go into my array, and I want it to go over here because it's A, B, C. I want it to go into here. I want this count to increase. So how would I make this C into a numeral? So into, not a numeral, but into a number of where it occurs in the alphabet. Who's got some ideas? Who's got ideas? I don't know how long the delay is here. Probably huge. Yeah, so I can take that letter C and I can subtract an A from it, okay? Because if I subtract an A from it, wherever C is located minus the A, that will give me the position of that letter. Now I'm putting it inside of this array. So what I want to be doing is I want to be increasing the index in this count. So, God, Struggle Town. Okay, so this index is going to go up by 1, okay? So what this is going to do, it's going to go to index C minus A, which is at index 2, and it's going to increase it by 1. And right now it's 0, so that means it's going to go to 1. Okay, fantastic. And so I want to keep doing that, and I want to increase my I to keep moving to the next letter of the alphabet. Okay, so this first logic will give us what all the different values are in that array. Okay, so if you want to see it, then you would actually, if we want to see, if you can print out to see what the different things are in that count array. Do you want to do that? Do you want to see what is inside the count array? How is everyone feeling about that? Or does that make sense what we're doing now? Make sense? Doesn't make sense? It should be inside the while loop. Did I move it outside the while loop? It should be inside that. Yes, I'm sorry. It's what happens when you do too many brackets to start with. Yes, it should be. Well done. What does the count do again? So the count basically stores whichever letter. So if it's C, then this is going to increase by 1. So if we do it for the letter cat, this will be 1. For the A, this will be 1, and for the T, oh God, you're really testing my, I don't know what T is as value of the alphabet. So wherever T is, it's going to be 1. And then I can go through that count array, and if anything is more than 1 in this count array, then it's not an isogram. But if everything is 1, then it's an isogram. T is 19. Thank you very much. So wherever 19 is, that's going to be 1. Thank you. Thank you, Eduardo. Saved. Okay, so it's just a simple way, one way to solve it. It's not, you can do it a number of different ways as well. Okay, so right now I've got, so this is what count would look like. Let's print it out so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is just, oh my gosh, struggle town today. I can imagine all of you are struggling as well. Really struggling today. Okay. All right, that should do it. I probably made a mistake somewhere, but let's just compile it and see what we've got. Isogram.co, isogram. Great, have not. Okay, who knows what this, so good to not, just don't freak out anytime you see, oh yes, I've created an infinite loop as well, funsies. I never want this to end. I love this so much. I just want it to keep going. And something else, I'm not returning anything from this function, so I'm just going to return something. And then we can, and I don't think I've yep, okay, great. Okay, fantastic. Let's have a look what it does. I have to take a word in, don't I? Let's do cat. Okay, then I'm going to get some rubbish. Okay, there is a reason for that anyway, because I've gone to 26 because I feeling special. So yeah, it should, exactly, it should be, it's not equal to 26 because I've accessed 26. Okay, so but you can see where the counts are. So they are A, because that's the A, this is the C, and then we have, this is the T, okay? So then I can go through this array and I can, if I go through this array, then, okay, this will compile, yeah? I'm struggling. Today is a struggle. Okay, let's compile again and let's run it so there's no warning. Well, no error, so we're not accessing an array out of bounds. Okay, so this is an isogram because I've got every letter occurs once, okay? But I haven't actually checked yet if it is or not. Okay, I have over here. Perfect. Okay, so do we think that this is working okay, or do we think, what's not working right now? What logic am I missing? And I am missing some serious logic. I was just fortunate that this particular, well, if we do hello, it will tell me it's also an isogram, and hello is definitely not because the L occurs twice. So what logic am I missing right now? Yeah, it should be, yes. Why should we, this is just a, yes. Whilst I'm less than 26, I should keep doing this. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, okay. So right now I'm just returning this one and that's it. And there is nothing there that actually supports the logic of what's going on. I'm saying everything's an isogram at this point because I'll do this, I'll do that. Like I've added into the array, that's all good. But then I'm just basically returning one. I'm saying everything's an isogram. So what I need to do is I need to actually do the logic now that supports, the counting through the array. Yeah? Yeah, so then I need to check my values, and if it's greater than 0, then I will return something else. Okay, so where should I do that? Should I do it inside my while loop? I can do it outside my while loop, or I can do it inside my while loop, which will save me some efficiency. We don't care if we save efficiency or not. Why would it save efficiency? Because then I wouldn't need to store every single letter. As soon as I see a double, I can exit out. It's not an isogram, okay? So if I want to be efficient, I'll go in here and I'll do it inside this while loop. And as soon as I see, and let's be efficient today. Why not? So okay. So I'm going to check in here that something has not occurred twice. So I'm going to check if count and then C minus A is greater than 0. So if the character, whatever the character is that I'm doing, if it's greater than 0, then I'm not well, do we have a letter that's been repeated, or should that be something else? Have I done the logic right? Where's the mistake? What did you come into? You came into a little slice of hell. You came into isogram. So, okay. So, yes, I can do it after incrementing, or I can do it, yes, I can do it depending what I'm doing. Okay, very good. And greater than 1 here, and you're right, should be afterwards. So I've increased my letter, and then I can check over here if it's happened more than once, and I'll return 0 if it has, and it's not an isogram. Otherwise, I'm going to return 1. Okay, should we try it? What words should I try to like make it happen or not happen? Okay, so let's do cat, because we've cat is good. What other words should I try? Well, hello. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Amazing. What else should I try? How should I try to check from what have I kind of accounted for in this code or not accounted for? Okay. No, isogram only has each letter once. Okay, non-character. What about some capital letters? Okay. Aha, through me, right? Because I've got a non-letter. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that's one thing. Now your spec might tell us whether or not we need to, count for those. What about a capital letter? Okay, capital letter seems to be okay. Check. What about a capital letter in the middle? Okay, all good. Okay, so non-characters are not working. Fine. The code is testing whether or not it's an isogram or not. Letters with spaces. Nope, we don't like spaces, so we don't like anything that's not a numeric character. And we can kind of counter for that over here. So your spec will probably say that you'll never get given a actually for question 9, you might get given a non-alphabetic character that you have to throw away or do something else with. Yeah? Okay, how's everyone feeling about isogram? Do you want to run through it, through the code? Do you want to run through the code line by line, or do you want to move on? Bree, sorry, can you do a poll for me, please? It's so weird when I can't see you, Bree. Thank you. I feel like I need to sing or dance or do something because it's taking too long. I can fix all of this. I can indeed. Yep. So I can fix that error by moving this piece of code into the first if statement where I check that it's an alphabetic character. So I will only increase my count if it is an alphabetic character. Otherwise, I will skip over it and move on to the next character. Well done. Move on. Oh, just a very solid move on. Yes, Kevin, there is digit. Ah, John, yes, very good. This is probably a 2.5 dot, and then a 3 dot will have one more element of difficulty, but it is an example of like a question 9. Okay, should I show you another example of a question 9? The exam is like okay. Well, yeah, it's like a 2.5 dot. So I'm just trying to de-stress you a little bit, but also like don't, you know, let's do the substring question. This one's feeling empty. Write a C program that reads in words until Control D and checks whether a word ran in as a command line argument appears in the main word. If it appears, print it again. Okay, who knows what this means? This is what I mean. So this is more like a true 3 dot probably, and the isogram is more like a 2.5 dot. Okay. Who understands what this question is asking? Anyone? Bueller. No one understands what this question is asking. Yeah, so this is another example of like a question 9 potentially. Yeah, so whatever I enter on the command line, so basically whenever I run my program, so let's say I'm going to run it substring, I'm going to give it a command line argument, fun, and then I'm going to read in words, okay, after that. So I might do funky, I don't know, this is just lame. And so I'm going to check whether this word appears inside one of these words. So it does appear in the word funky. It does not appear in the word cool. So if it appears in the word, then it will print out that word again. Otherwise, it will just skip over it. Okay? Okay. So this is basically what we're trying to do. So now how on earth do we do it is the question. Always a great question. So we're starting out with absolutely nothing. So usually in a question 9 or a question 10, question 11, you will start with a scratch pad. Really nothing is going to happen. So you're going to have to do lots of the code yourself. All right, let's try it out. Okay, so a few people are making suggestions already. So let's I'm going to start in the main, and I'm going to have a helper function that's going to find the substring for me, just because why not? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read in the words in the main, okay? And I'm going to do that by using the fgets function. And to do that, that means I need an array that I can read into. And so for my fgets function, I will read into the array called word. It's going to be up to max, and I'm going to use the standard input as the place that I'm reading from. Okay, now I'm reading in until control D. So that means that my fgets is going to keep going and whilst it's not equal to null. Okay, yep, and some brackets. Okay, and whilst I'm reading in those words, then what I want to do is I want to find a substring. So I'm going to have a function called find substring, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it the word that I'm checking for, and I'm going to send it the word that is being checked. So this word here, that first one, my argument, my command line argument, and I'm going to, it is stored in argv1, so I'm going to send that to it. Okay. How's that? Is that all good? And then here I'm just going to cut off the, new line to make it easier to, there might have been a similar lab, and that's why to prepare for the exam, it is a good idea to go through all the lab questions as well. I have one more question I would like to do today, and it's some continuous subarray question, which is like a question 4 of the exam, like a 2 dot. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to make some magic, write that function, small function. Usually if we were in the lecture theatre, now would be the fun time when I would tell you to come up, and I would get students to come up and I would get them to write some code, but there is nothing like that. Okay, so we're going to have a function, find substring. I need to know what it would return. What should it return? Let's just, I'm going to print it out in here. So I'm going to return nothing in this case, but it's going to get a word. And it's going to get the other word. Okay, and then I'm going to do something in here. Okay, amazing. So what do we need to do? What are we doing? What are we thinking? How will we find a substring inside it? So if we were to find this substring, what we're trying to do is, let's say we have on our argv, this word is actually equal to fun. Okay, so 0, 1, 2. Okay, so that's the word we're looking for. And then the other one is, let's say the first word that we type in is funky. Okay. Okay, so we want to be saying if this combination of letters occurs in here as well. Oh, look at people jumping on that question about linked lists. Yes. Yeah, previous nodes are really useful when you are deleting. So a question like this will tell you functions that you can't use as well. And sometimes we will get you to write functions that exist that you won't be able to use them. You just have to write them from scratch, and that's the question. So it's thinking about what it's doing. I used to, when I did programming, the first thing sometimes they got us to do is to basically rewrite the strings library, the most commonly used things, so that you understood how it worked without being able to use any of the functions. A great lesson, even if somewhat painful at times. All right, thoughts, ideas, suggestion. What do I need? What do I want? It's raining. Yeah, loop through the main word until the first character of the substring, then keep looping to compare the characters and it follows it. If there's a perfect, that's beautiful. That's a very good tactic. So I'm going to loop through this word and kind of look for this first letter. And if I find the first letter, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to try, and then I'm going to see if the following letters actually match as well. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the lengths of the words, okay? I want to know how big the words are. So I'm going to do the main word length, and I'm going to use the string length function of the main word, and I'm going to do the same thing even with good spelling, and I'm going to do it for my other word as well, okay? Because that will give us a chance to be able to actually, know when we need to stop as well. Okay, and I'm going to hold on to a flag, and that flag I'm going to set it to 0, and I'm going to see if I find that letter, okay? Because if I find the first one, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some other things. All right, excellent. Now I need some loops to loop through things. I need some loops. So if my first loop and I'm going to make you decide what goes into those ... dots. Okay, so what will go, how far will I go until in the first loop to find that first character? What do you reckon? You reckon I'll go to max? Yeah, okay. So people are saying main length. So max is too long. I won't need to go to max if I know that my main word might be string length. I've got my length, right? Yeah. Should we put everything in an if statement? So if length is greater than main length, we just move on to the next word. We could do that. Yeah, we could also take care of it another way. So for now, what I'm going to do, let's make it more efficient after we run it. So for now, I'm going to take this suggestion and we're going to use main length, okay? So we're going to go the length of the main word that is given. So this word over here. Now, this one is 3. What happens, okay? I'm just going to put it out there. What happens if the word instead, okay, was UNCF? So that means that I would find the first character over here. Is there any chance that the following letters will now match anything? Is there any chance of this happening now? Would I need to run this loop? No, there isn't, is there? So how can so what do you think this could be to counter that? Right? So the length of this one is going to be 3, and the length of this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Yeah, so who said it? Main length minus length will give us how I cannot keep going past it. Yeah, main length minus length. Because there's not enough space then to fit in the word, right? The first main word of 3 characters. Does that make sense? This delay is absolutely killing me. All right, I'm going to take the silence either as it's a really long delay or everyone understands why we had to do main length minus length and there's no point in going on after that. It doesn't make sense? Okay. So if the length of the big word is 4, as it is over here, okay? So this is my main length here. So it would help if I wrote, okay, main length is 4 and my length is 3. If I don't see over here the F, there's no point in going on because I'm not going to, I only have 2 more characters. So in this case, it would make sense. But I can't keep going after that because the length of my word is too, I don't have enough characters left here to check for the rest of the word. So when no, the main word is not fun. The main word is this one over here. It's the main length and this is the main word. And this is the word I'm searching for. Okay. All right. So we've gone into this. We're now in this loop and we want to see if we match. Okay. Okay. We need to check for something here. We might need to have a flag. We don't know yet. Okay. So let's do the internal loop, which is the easier loop. Okay. And this loop is just going to check. Let's say we've got a match of the first letter. Then now let's check if the subsequent letters can come together. Okay. So let's go. So this one is going to be less than length because we're just going to go through this word here. And that means that we can increment. How are we going to check that the main word matches something? So if they match, then I want to do something. I want to continue checking the next one. But if they don't match, then I don't want to do it. What do we think we can? I keep saying the word match, so maybe I should just set that flag now. So let's just set a flag for matching. And I might do something else here. Okay, how will I check that the 2 are equal? So how will I check that this one is equal to the next one in this word? What do we reckon? I don't want to use string compare, but I could use string compare. How will I just check the character? Let's say I want to do it character by character and you've been told you can't use string compare. Whoa. Okay, so almost, if I do main word J is equal to word J, I'm going to have a problem because it's assuming that they're at exactly the same place, but in my main word, I might be up to this character over here. Okay, yep, so this one should in fact be I plus J, good, because it allows me to be wherever I am in here. So I've set myself up for a negative flag over here because I said match is equal to 1 until proven otherwise. So over here, I'm going to do the otherwise statement. So if they're not equal to each other, then my match is going to be equal to 0. Yeah. Okay. So do we know what's happening so far? Sorry, Bree, can you do a poll if we know what's happening so far? Or should I draw a diagram to kind of run through the code? Okay, excellent. Feel free to also just write diagram, go through it. Okay, I'm just going to run through it so that you can see where it's all going. Okay, so let's say I've got 3 things, okay? Okay, perfect. Let's do it. A few people have said diagram. So what I'll do is I'll actually erase all of this and we'll start again, just so, and I'm going to come up with a better word. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to keep it as fun, okay? And this is going to be my word. Okay, and then the second one, let's say, is going to be I'm going to make it be okay, okay? Hang on, we'll deal with it in a second. You know, I love to do code and then break it and then we fix it. Because I want you to see that you don't get to write perfect code from the get-go, right? The point is you write it, you try it, you break it, you fix it, you don't freak out when it breaks. It should break. If you're writing perfectly to start with and keeping everything in your head, well done you, but that's not how normally it's done, right? You will break things. Don't be scared when it's broken. That's when you look for how to fix it. Okay, so then we've got, I don't know, this is just, I don't know, right? I'm just trying to, obviously that word doesn't exist. Okay, so let's do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got a few things here. I'm going to move that one off so that it's not producing weird. Okay, so good. So what we're trying to do is the first line of the code here is doing main length. So it's taking the main length and it's taking the string length of the main word. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so remember it counts not including the null terminator string length. Okay, and then length goes afterwards. And then that variable is set to the string length of the word. So 1, 2, 3. Great, we're on 3. Fantastic. Then I've got this flag called found, and the found is set to 0 right now, and we haven't used it yet. So now what we do is we enter into the first for loop, okay? So for, we've got our I is equal to 0, and then here, this condition over here, main length minus length. And the reason for that is, so if my F was actually over here, even though I found the F, the rest of my word fun is not going to fit. I don't have enough characters left for it, right? So I wouldn't need to check for it. But in my case, because my F is found over here and my length here, so 5 minus 3 is 2. So my main length, so I'm going I has to be less than or equal to 5 minus 3, which is equal to 2, which means that it gives me 2 more letters that I can fit in, okay? And that means that I should check afterwards. I don't know how those balloons just started going behind me. I did not do anything. I do not know, but there's balloons. Okay, so that's why I have the I plus J happening, okay? Because I want to be able, sorry, main length minus length over here. Okay, and then I'm going to do I plus plus. Okay, then I've got one more and I've set this match to a 1. Okay, great. I enter into the next loop, and in the next loop I've got J is equal to 0. J is going until length, and length is equal to 3. So it's only checking for the length of this word because I don't need to check anything more. I need to check whether this word is inside the main word. So that's all I need to go until. And then it's going to increment if it's working or not. Okay, so then we enter into this if statement, and the if statement is saying if main word I plus j. And the reason it's doing that is because let's say that we have found a match, okay? And the match is over here in main word. So that means I will start checking from index 2 over here. Now, my j right now is 0, so I need my I to be the f, right? When I find the f, that's when I start checking. And that means I need to add the I plus the j because I need it to be, I've now gotten to index 2 and then wherever j is sitting. So right now it's at 0, so it'll be at 2. Then the next one, j is going to be 1, so that means I'm going to move to the next one in this array, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why I do the I plus j, because the I plus j allows me to know where the f started before I start checking for the subsequent characters. And I'm going to check that it's not equals to word j. So if it's not equal to it, then I'm going to move the match and make it 0, because otherwise I'm going to have match as equal to 1, as in it's matching, and I've got to keep going, right? So we'll set that in a second. So if they don't match, then I set it to 0. Otherwise, I'm going to, keep going. Okay, so now I need to kind of use these things to decide what I'm going to do next. So found right now is equal to 0, and if I match, then I want the found to be equal to 1 and maybe keep going or something like that. So what do we think we should do next? Who's with me? I see people are talking about the assignment. I feel like I've lost everyone. So if we were to do this code, right? If we were to run through this code with what we have right now, with those 2 letters, right? Let's see what happens and then we'll know what to change. Okay, so main length is equal to 5, length is equal to 3, found is equal to 0. Then we go in here, I is equal to 0, I is less than 2, so our condition is I is less than or equal to 2, I plus plus. We've got match is equal to 1. And then we go in here, j is equal to 0, j is less the length, j plus plus. Now, if main word at I plus j, I and j are right now both 0, so it'll be if main word 0 is matching this 0. No, it doesn't match, and that means my match is equal to 0. So I'm going to swap the match to 0, okay? Then I'll keep going in this loop, and I'll go again because j is not equal to length yet. So j is going to increase by 1. So j is going to be equal to 1, and that means I'll check again. So 0 plus 1 is this thing here in the main word is n, equal to whatever is happening over here in 1. No, it's not, okay? So these are not equal to each other, so match is 0 again. So it's going to be set to 0 again, and I'll go again. So j will increase by 1 again, and I'll get to the number 2. So now I'll move over by 1 over here, and I'll move over by 1 and compare these two. So I've got an F and an N. Yeah, the linked list is easier than the array. I'm gonna put it out there. It is true. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I've got a Kahoot, and then it's an Ask Me Anything, and then you're all gonna be okay. And also, I just want to remind you, I will finish this question and I will explain it if we don't do it in the lecture. Depends how fried everyone is, but I want to remind you that you only have to pass the hurdle, right? You don't have to get 100% for it. You literally just have to get 50%. You have to be halfway to a solution, okay? Arrays are more cooked than linked lists, yeah? Do you want to have a little break now? Have I cooked up a storm and you just want a little break right now? Do you want like a 2-minute break? Do you want to do a Kahoot to break things up? What's the vibes? Bree, I'm sorry. You're back on the poll. Kahoot, break. Well, you know what? Didn't get 50%. That's fine because it's week 10. You still have a good 2 weeks to practice. Okay? Okay. Oh my God. Too many too many different opinions. No break, little break, break. Kahoot, I don't know. Could be wrong in the isogram. It's true. Break it, right? Break it, and then we can fix it. Okay, let's have a 2-minute break then. It seems to be a solid break for break. 2-minute break, 3:05 now, 3:10 we come back, then we have 20 minutes to finish this one. Didn't include the Kahoot. Well, we can finish this question, or we can do a Kahoot, and you can wait for me to finish this question on a video for you that I can just share. Up to you guys. Everything is an option. I just don't want to keep pushing when you're cooked and you've got absolutely nothing left in the tank. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll be back at 3:10. Well, it's neck and neck with the Kahoot versus Finnish question, which is super duper unhelpful. I'll put it out there. It's a 50-50 situation. It's really whatever I want to do. Okay, you know what? We're going to do the Kahoot. If I have to, I'm going to record a video explaining how to do this question. So don't worry. You're not going to miss out on learning how to do this question. Toss a coin. I don't actually have a coin. I don't, it's been a while. Coins are, ghosts these days. It's all about tap, tap, tap. And then you don't feel any bit of money being spent, which is just devastating. All right, Kahoots. Oh, could do Google flip a coin, but it's not really random, Even a random number generator is not random. You can... But we could get stuck in a bit of a... Could get swiped there. A good little swipe of... Is a random number generator that random? Oh, look at that, Bree. Bree's just on our positive train today. She's going to be giving us motivational... Every 2 minutes, Bree, you have to generate a motivational post. You can absolutely be so positive. It's all about your frame of mind. It's random enough, but is it random enough? We could argue about that. I've had this argument before. I don't know why. That was a complete waste of time. CS is cooking, lots of cooked, lots of people still cooking, which is nice. Lots of people someone's just Gordon Ramsay, so they're going to yell as well whilst cooking. Born to be cook, perfect. Not positive, I don't like that. Should be bit of positive, bit of positive, bit of positive. So many skulls. And this is only Lakers in 5. Someone is really a fan of basketball there. But I've noticed they are in every Kahoot as Lakers in 5. I'm always like, is there a Lakers game in 5? No, there isn't. This is not going to be a positive statement, but it only gets harder from here. I'm just going to put it out like that. Yeah. I know. Week 10 is a really horrible week. There's a lot of things due, a lot of assessments and tests, so it is, I don't envy you. And all that beautiful long weekend, I didn't even bother saying hope you all had a nice long weekend, because none of you would have had a nice long weekend. You would have just all been doing your assessments. Wolves in 5. Don't even know what's going on anymore. Yeah, you've got to be very careful to, manage your... Brie, I don't know how, but you made that really positive as well. Just part of the uni lifestyle. Someone had a great break. Well done. Well done you. It was such beautiful weather. I got sunburned, so there we go. Which is really not very good. Should have been wearing sunscreen. All right, let's get this show on the road. And John is getting on the train as well. It's true. The more CS courses you do, the better you get at debugging. It is so true. The more coding you do, the more errors you get, the better you become as a programmer. And that's why I'm saying just write whatever crap you're writing, then run it, then see what the issues are. And then you learn so much from the struggle that ensues of trying to fix what you've written. Honestly, big time. All right, let's do it. Oh, good luck to everyone. 1521, 1531, good luck. Hope you're with a good group in 1531. Just saying. Ask me anything. That's so true, Bree. Yes. Who fell? Someone fell for it. You can't have the value of pointer is going to be an address. Ha 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 ha. I don't know why I'm becoming like this. I'm becoming hysterical. Oh, salmon is back. And cooking, cooked, skull, skull. But this one's wearing sunglasses. So this one is cool. This one's lost an eye because they are so cooked. And D-Doug, cap, not sure what's going, sun safe. And someone's got the sun with sunglasses and wants to cry. So things are going really well in this course. Back in the day when you didn't know the linked list, your life was not complete. Your life is complete now that you know about linked lists. But it's not actually complete because you still have so much to learn. Woohoo! Yeesh. What's happened? Compile error, runtime error. Ooh, this is the problem over here. Yes, that and. Ha ha. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's see who this through. Ooh, lots of cooking. We have a friendly koala that's gone for a little bit of a snorkel, which is nice, enjoying the holidays. And this beautiful flower crown, which is lovely. Bree couldn't have put it better. It's very important to take breaks. Whoa, what's happened here? So on the third character, we add a null terminator. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So this goes over here, which means that then we do the string length, and when we output it, it's going to give us 3 because only 3 things remain. So string length only gives everything but the null terminator. Oh, sorry, it's the old theme. That's how I can't see that well in the dark theme. Beautiful. Born to be cooked. Koala's still there. Amazing. Good on you. You need to play games. You need to do stuff. Just seeing if you're good with scope of variables. Whee! What's happened here? Why? Why is there an error? You printed out this variable, so it gave you 200, and then you went outside of here and you printed out the VAR on here. So, yay! Okay, what have we got? Oh, you know what? A lot of skulls. The koala is coming in number 2. Amazing. You can do braces wherever you want. That's when I adjust the window. It's, yep. Remember that indentation is just for us. It's for humans. Yay! Amazing. Who's winning? Who's coming in first? D-Doug. I remember you from the lectures. Now we've got 4 skulls. And then Dean. Just, yep. Good for you not being a skull. There. Okay. Oh, sorry. Enjoy this 20 lines of code and 1 minute to read it in. Whee! It's going to be the longest minute of your life as you read this beautiful code. Back to linked lists. Looks like I'll be recording that video with the substring. "23 seconds. Can you do it?" Yeah, this is like, my kids kept saying psych the whole weekend, so now I'm all about the psych. Whee! Whoever got that, amazing. I'm not going to go through 20 lines of code because I'm feeling a bit cooked. Yay! A Sasha fan coming in fourth. How exciting. All right. Next one. I don't know how long I made this. 7 of 8. Second last question. Thank God. Oh my goodness. What was I thinking? Another giant chunk of code and another minute to read that code. Who is going to guess and not read the code? Guess and hope for the best. I love the music it starts playing, the desperation. 18 seconds, 14 seconds. I don't know how fast that 4 seconds. I must speak real slow. 9 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, so many good guesses. Well done. Not psych. An error. That has really changed the... Wow, look at that. It's all skulls. I'm going to take a screenshot of that just because we're not going to see that again maybe. This is exciting. Amazing. Not positive. Salmon. I can't go back to explain it, but clearly something was not being done at the head because we were playing with the head node. And this one, just letting you finish on a good note. This one's gonna stuff you up. It's a multi-answer question. I probably stuffed you up. They're all correct. Woohoo! All right, let's see what we have. Oh, what other courses do I teach? Not for the last 2 years, but I also teach game design. Woohoo! D-Doug, again, no chocolates for you. Salmon, all 3 skulls as well. Someone with a crown, amazing. How amazing. This is outrageous. All 3 skulls winning, 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 winning. So many wins. Well done, you. That was the last Kahoot. I don't teach 1521 because I like... Yep. No, I do like 1521, but it is a bit cooked, but it's a good course. Okay. Guess what? I can hear some tutors at the door. I'm going to let them in. And then we can... What am I doing? I will record the how to finish that question. Okay, don't worry. I'll record for you how to do it. Yeah, Ange does teach 1521, and she did for me when I was in... Hello team, come on through. And she does 1521. You'll have to close the door because I am so loud. Okay. So now you've got your wonderful tutors that are blurred in the background. You're going to have to come closer. I'm going to blur myself in the background.
Do we have to stand?
And yes, you can like rest your legs on my chair if you like. But it is Ibby who has decided to grow a beard for reasons unknown. But good for you. Hey?
It was a moustache before.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Beard is better than moustache. It's true. There's Holly. Where's Holly? Holly, and there's Enzo. Enzo, who's decided not to leave uni. Enzo, you're not on camera, I don't think.
Yeah.
There you are.
There we go.
Yeah, Enzo is never leaving. Thanks, Enzo. All right.
Good to
Someone's noticed Evie's hair is short. Yes, he came
good.
into my office and it was wild. And I was like, well, instead of saying that looks good, I said, why would you do that? So that was not exactly the...
It was a reaction I was looking for.
Yeah, that was not exactly the reaction that he was looking for.
Meet the team's pages literally.
So we're going to do an Ask Me Anything, and you can ask them for exam tips. You can ask them, do you think anything works on this computer? You'd be right to think not, because
Is that the first question?
that is the first question. Enzo, you cannot answer it because you know the answer to that question. And the answer to that question is nothing works. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. Say hi to Evie, Enzo, and Holly. Bree said she couldn't make it into uni. That's why she's not here. Can you see anything, or you need me to read for you?
My eyes are too.
Okay,
terrible.
I'm gonna read for. I'm gonna sit here. Okay, questions. Evie from the amusement park. Evie, did you enjoy the amusement park?
It was, but it lied about my height, so
Excuse me, it lied about mine. It kept saying I'm too short to go on anything.
that is accurate.
Bree, we need a positive note. Okay. Other than that, I'm going to make them answer some questions. You can just see the top of my head, which is really weird. Okay. Questions. Oh, COMP1511 enjoyer. This is all very nice. All right. We're going to start with an easy one. What was your favorite part of 1511 when you did it?
When I
a long
took
time
the
ago.
course.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. First question after that. Quickly. Quick game's a good game.
Oh, assignment 2? I don't know, like...
Oh my god. So Holly's favourite part of the course was assignment 2.
Okay, no, it was Sophia being my tutor.
Oh,
And she was my tutor as
Sophia.
well.
Shout out Sophia.
Woohoo.
Sophia was also my tutor,
Oh.
and you stole my answer.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Enzo?
I did the course a very long time ago, but I think it was the labs, getting to just like hang out with other students coding and like ask a bunch of questions.
Nice coding.
Amazing.
Not vibe coding. This is
Okay.
Before the days of vibe coding.
Next question is how to not get cooked in exam. Any tips how to not get cooked in the exam?
Do practice. Do the practice exam. Do the practice exam
You've
in
heard it
exam
here
conditions.
many times.
The exam condition is very crucial.
Yeah. If you can do the practice exam, you can do the exam. If you struggle on part of the practice exam, then you know what to practice and what to work on for the actual exam.
And if you need more questions, you can go back in your week's labs and just do those questions.
Yeah. And the practice exams is a real Comp 1511
Yeah.
exam.
It is a real Comp
I think
1511
I reviewed
exam.
that exam.
That was done
Yeah.
from last year, so it's
Yeah.
recent too. Is it hard to become a tutor?
It is competitive.
It's very competitive.
It's very competitive.
So people apply for it, and then some people get lucky and they become tutors.
It's not about
and
luck, Enzo.
There's a bit of luck in everything. in my
A
opinion.
little bit of luck, but you have to do a nice video.
But if you're interested in teaching, it's worth applying. And then if you're, I always tell people not to be discouraged if you don't get selected, because it is so competitive. There's so many people applying. You can keep applying. You can apply other terms. You can apply for different courses as well. The more stuff you do at uni, the more you realize there's so many opportunities to join in with the teaching. And you might find that there are other courses as well that you're really interested and passionate about.
Yeah, if you're interested in the other courses, it would be really helpful to be known in the forums and stuff like that. So helping other people out, be known so other people can notice you.
And
friendly.
being
Be
kind.
friendly, be kind, and be helpful.
Yeah, and just being involved in the course in general. So even just show up to your labs, talk to your tutors, build a good relationship with your tutors as well, because that can be a part of it, because they can put in a good word.
Absolutely. Well done. And there's 200 applications a term usually, so it's quite competitive. What year would be best to do Comp 6441 and 6445? I don't even know what those
are.
Remind me
Is
what those are.
6441 C++?
I think that's 6771. Is 6441? That's not Rust. Rust is 6991. I don't know.
Security.
Oh.
Security.
Security.
I haven't done security, so
for 5 digital forensics.
I haven't taken either of those.
I haven't taken either of
Third to
those.
fourth year.
Yeah,
Maybe third.
People really love the security course. I think the more, I think it's one of the courses that if you do a few subjects, a few electives first, you'll really appreciate learning like how many security vulnerabilities you wrote into all your code up to that point. So yeah, maybe late into second year, but this is unofficial advice. I don't know what I'm talking
But
about.
I don't think they're programming heavy courses from what I've heard.
You
I
do.
could be wrong.
I have no idea about digital forensics. I know that in security, you can choose to do your, at least when I heard about it, you could choose to do a project and you can really choose whether that project is a heavy coding thing or not. If you're doing the higher version of security, you're expected to do something more like implementation focused, I think.
How feasible is it to finish everything up to question 11, including question 11? I'm just gonna in the 3 hours.
I think that depends on you.
Yeah.
You have a practice exam. If you can do the practice exam within 3 hours,
Yeah.
you can do the actual exam.
Not many people.
Give them a stat.
Like what? Like
Okay.
people.
less than 5%?
Last term, 30 people
30
attempted
people.
it out
Yeah,
of
there you
1,210 managed to do it. 10
So-
people out of, it was 1,300 students
Yeah, that's
last year, and 10 managed to do that. So
That's
it's
not to-
feasible, but it's not probable.
Yes.
And that's not to say you can't do well without doing the last two questions. I definitely
Yes.
didn't do them at all.
I didn't do it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you do them? No.
No.
Did you do them? No.
I like attempted
You
them. I didn't
probably
get, no, I didn't even. But if you do get up to the last questions, don't be discouraged by this talk.
Exactly.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
give it a try. You can get partial marks, you know, and don't ever be intimidated not to try something. Just
Yeah.
give it a go. But if you don't get up to it, don't feel bad about
Yeah,
that.
but
That's
definitely.
very normal.
Yeah, I think that was a point I wanted to bring up with not getting cooked in the exam. Like, make sure you are aware of the time, because I get into this
Yeah.
sort of zone
Oh.
where
Yeah.
I get locked into a question and then I forget time's going by, and then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
waste time and don't have time to get to another question that I could have done had I had time. So be aware of time. Give yourself sort of like a limit. If I can't figure this out in like the next 5 minutes, let me move on and come back to it, because sometimes you just need like a fresh pair of eyes.
Especially with
Absolutely.
debugging, if you
Yeah.
run
Yeah, I was
into a
about to
bug,
say.
it's you can dump so much time into just trying to find one little issue. Whereas if you go away, try a different question, get some more marks, come back and you can find
Yeah,
it. Is
and
that what you were gonna say?
Yeah, debugging actually took me the longest out.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Practice debugging, all the techniques that you can do and how to
Reading-
debug things.
Reading the DCC output and your audit test output as well, like knowing how to identify like the comparison between your output and the given output. And yeah, I think the other thing is with the like the final two questions, like don't feel pressured to, we're not saying don't attempt them, but don't feel pressured to finish them. So I think because if you feel like, oh, there's 11 and 12 I have to do, I need to rush all the other ones, then you might miss marks where you needed them, like missing a hurdle or something. I would say prioritize the questions that you know are definitely capable of doing, and then extend yourself from there. I feel like setting small goals might help you progress through the exam
Yeah.
as well.
I heard some students talk about trying to do the exam backwards, to do like
No.
the hardest
No,
questions
hell
first.
no, yeah.
I can't tell you what to do, but I do discourage it.
Do
The
your
questions
hurdles
at the
first.
start are the
Hurdles
most
first.
important ones.
Yeah.
In fact, I can discourage you from doing that. Don't
Yeah,
do
okay.
that.
Don't do that.
Do your hurdles first. There is a reason for the order in the exam, and the hurdles are first because you should do them first. After you've done the hurdles, then it's bonus marks. Okay. Hi guys, I have a question. Have you ever ran a lab and a student has asked you to check their code, but their code was really difficult to immediately read and understand? How do you deal with that? I would imagine this happens all the
this
time.
happens
All the time.
I asked them to fix their style to come back to me, because if it's like a lot of the time, sometimes I've had so many instances where the code was so difficult to read and the bug wasn't actually a logic issue, it was simply just a missing curly bracket or something, or misaligned curly brackets. And it's like, as much as style seems like this really annoying thing, it's actually, it benefits you, it's not just for the marks. And it also benefits us, like reading the code. Like if you want to make the most of our help, you wanna try and understand your problem to the best you can,
Yep.
so you can explain it to us and we can get to like the crux of the problem as quickly as possible. And part of that is making your code legible. So yeah, comments and proper style helps a lot.
Good variable names
Yeah.
make such a difference.
Yeah.
I often ask students, so when it's not just like a style problem, when it's like a really late stage thing in the assignment, it's complicated and my brain is too tired or bad to understand what's going on, like I ask the student to talk through what their code does, like line by line, bit by bit, and the number of times the student has figured out what's wrong with their code, describing it to me,
Just
I still
rub it
don't
up.
really understand it. Yeah. So,
Oh, this is what happened. You got it. Yep.
I do that all the time.
which is good advice if you're working by yourself. You can if you're not in a help session, though comes to the help sessions, you can sort of like explain your code to a wall or to a rubber duck, and you can often find what's wrong with your code that way.
I'm going to add to this. There's this old book. It's called How to Solve It, and it was written about solving maths problems. And one of the things in it is being able to explain the problem itself and then the solution. And half the time that's part of it, and finding the right answer when you do that. Okay, sorry, I keep interrupting. What if you only do 2 courses each term? Good for you.
Yeah,
I do that.
I do that.
I do that. It's great.
If you're not worried about getting out of university as quickly as possible, which I was not because I'm going to be here forever, it can make things more relaxing. It can mean that you spend more time like engaging with the courses and actually enjoying them rather than just crunching to like learn everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know people prefer to do 3 a term because they just like want to get through the content. If that's for you.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, but there's definitely, if you're not in a rush to graduate, there's definitely nothing wrong with like underloading at all if you're able to do that. I think personally I felt like, I'm being too easy on myself by not taking the full like proper full-time load, but it actually paid off in the long run because I was able to, again, I made the promise to myself, if I'm going to underload, I'm going to put my all into my 2 courses.
Yep.
And it's like, it pays off in terms of understanding, grades, and then a lot of knowledge from previous courses then carry across into other courses. So it's like, if you did take the time to understand everything, it'll pay off.
You actually can learn. Like you give yourself time to actually learn the content.
Rather than just trying to pass.
Because there's always more you can learn than you time you get in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
You're not going to run out of things to do.
Yay, assignment 2 is fun. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you to Sophia. Shout out to John, my tutor, who made it very enjoyable. I agree. John is a very nice human being, which all of our tutors are really. We do have the nicest tutors. I'm not biased at all. But 151 tutors are the nicest people. How should you best decide which courses to take in CS degree after doing your core courses?
Oh, like electives.
Mm.
Oh.
Whatever you're...
What are you
what
interested
you're interested
in?
in. There's also what's that DevSoc thing? Course reviews. I forgot what it's called.
Like the CSE electives?
Yeah. Well, you can like see other people's experiences with courses because that could help as well.
I think when you start getting through your core courses, you'll get a better understanding of what you enjoy and what you would want to,
You'll
learn
find.
about.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You know.
You'll find that a lot of lecturers for the core courses also drop hints and like tangents into like the electives that either they teach or they have some expertise in. So you'll get little bits or like kernels of information about the electives as you go, and those will give you an idea of like what you're interested in.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of is like when you do 1521, you might find you really like the low level stuff, and then there's a whole operating systems low level like streamline you can go down, and there's other things like that. If that's not for you, if you find like you really want to just build applications for people to use, that's like all the front end and that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
Tell us what you like better, Enzo, with your verbal cues.
Of those,
Low.
I did front end. I liked front end. I like both of those things. They're just very different. It's like 2 different directions. You can go low level, you can go...
And you can mix them too. Like you don't have to pick a minor as part of your course. Like you can do the flexible one, which I think most people do.
Yep.
So honestly, I would just say talk to people. Like that's how I've been picking my electives. Like talk to people, see what sounds interesting.
Watch a YouTube video, see if it sounds
yeah.
interesting to you as well. You know.
Get recommendations from other people in the like CSE Discord and people you meet in
it's called
classes.
uni electives. That's the thing.
Electives.
Yeah, you can see course reviews on there. Yeah.
I picked most of my electives at random.
151
Just like
is
whatever
tough.
was available.
Oh really?
That was still good.
At random? I just had a 5-minute spiel that there's no such thing as random number generators.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free words.
I heard that the exam's on its own software, so does that mean if you have, say, I'm wearing glasses and I can barely see that?
Your VS Code settings don't carry over to the exam environment. So if you've done anything really crazy that you rely on, you should either practice with like a fresh version of VS Code, which you will get access to in your practice exam this week. So see what it's like in your practice exam. Oh, is it lagging? And then from that, you'll know how different it'll be, and you might want to practice without all your extensions and without all your weird settings.
Okay. What language is taught in 1531?
That's JavaScript now? Used to be Python.
TypeScript?
Used to be Python. Yeah.
Is it TypeScript?
Well, you can do TypeScript if you want, yeah, which I recommend. I think it's useful to know TypeScript.
Yeah.
I think Bree's answered the prac exam at home. Someone's not feeling well. Oh no, I hope you feel better soon. What to do during uni to maximize our chance to find a job and internship, and how important is WAM?
I don't think WAM is that important.
Yeah, I don't think it's that important. I think some companies do care, but it's definitely not like the be all end all. I'd say I think the biggest thing is just apply. Like, don't think like you're not ready. Because maybe you're not ready, but it's not like companies blacklist you because you didn't make it through the first time. So just take opportunities. I definitely regret not applying. Like, just for the sake of applying and understanding what the recruitment process is like.
I think a lot of internships are heavy on like LeetCode, HackerRank, sort of like OA, like online assessments. But you know, your resume is just as important. So like, do projects. You know, do some extracurricular stuff that makes you look like a good candidate. That you're someone that's proactive in, like, you know, in your CS degree. And yeah.
What year and term would be best to do COMP1511? Algos.
Second year.
Yeah, after you've done
2521.
2521.
And I would recommend probably like after 1081 as well. Math.
1081.
Yeah.
So second year after 2521 and 1081. I think those are really important.
One of those is a prereq at least.
Right.
So
Surely, right?
Yeah. I think they both are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I think
second
they're both
year.
prereqs.
But after you've done those,
Cool.
you can jump into it.
Is doing both 1521 and 1531 at the same time a bit cooked?
I don't think so.
It's doable. If you do any two computer programming subjects at the same time, it can get difficult at times because you get assignments at the same time, and sometimes you're doing two different programming languages and they overlap in your brain and you write all sorts of weird code. But no, it's doable. You'll probably have to do multiple programming subjects at the same time.
I think it does depend as well. Like, if you go into 1531 with a good partner, then that'll take a lot of the load off. Because if you don't have a great group, then you might end up having to find yourself having to do the workload for 5 people, and that could be really tough. So I think just try and set yourself up, know the people who are going to be in your tute and stuff like that could help.
How do you find IT the internships and casual part-time jobs?
Talk to people.
Job boards. You can there's job boards out there. You know.
So that's it, job boards?
Job boards,
that's where I find
Google.
one.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's a list of companies that you would know of, and you just sign up to their.
We can email them.
Yeah.
If it's smaller companies or startups, you can email for your interest. Again, it never hurts to ask. As long as you ask nicely, they're not going to be oh, never can look at this person's emails again. So it's okay to show your interest.
100%. Would question 11 be tough in terms of solving it, or would I be more likely to be short on time?
Both.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes is the correct answer.
Jumped. Sorry.
It's usually not. Question 11 is usually not designed so you need to have done. It's still supposed to be doable by someone with only the knowledge of COMP1511, though, with a lot of problem-solving skills and stuff like that. We're not expecting you to usually.
It's not impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's just exam environment, time constraints.
So I'm going in order from top to bottom, which kills the comments that people make when you answer the question. I'm sorry, but on that last question, when you said about the student in the lab that you couldn't answer, you didn't quite know what they were doing, this person has mentioned that it's one of their biggest anxieties is being asked for help but unable to comprehend the problem. And I think that's really worth saying something about. You're never going to know all the answers, but I'll let you talk about your experiences.
Not knowing how to...
not knowing what the problem is.
If you're the tutor and you don't know what the
you don't know what... So maybe it's keeping this person from applying for work or that kind of...
It's... does anyone else want to...
Yeah, I think don't be too hard on yourself when it comes to that point, because it's easy to blame everything on yourself, but sometimes it's really not that. If you did get the role, you were chosen for a reason, and you have to back yourself on that. And if you don't understand, it's totally okay to say I don't know. You also have your lab assist, or if you're running a help session, the other tutors around, just be let me get back to you, because it's also better to ask for confirmation and give them the most informed answer rather than just try to get an answer out and possibly mislead them. And then have to sort of damage control after, which I've definitely done before. But it's also something that you learn. There's so much support. You're not alone, so yeah.
Pretending you know is much less helpful for everyone than just admitting you don't know and like showing how you would look up the answer. That's a valuable skill to teach. Also, like, this is a very understandable fear. I feel like every single tutor will relate to this, being scared of not knowing the answer, but in reality, it just happens all the time.
Yeah.
And like, if you genuinely don't know the answer, you could just, it's like, if you had that problem yourself, how would you debug it or run through it yourself? You know the content. If you were chosen to be a tutor, you know, we think you're capable enough in terms of like the content and, you know, being able to explain something. So yeah, if it gets to that point, you just be like, okay, let's break down the problem, and step by step, that would help the student and yourself solve the problem.
And in like the context of like, if their problem is their code is really hard to comprehend as well, it's okay to just like kindly be like, look, it's just a bit hard to understand a code at the moment. Can I come back to you in a bit? Can you write comments? Can you fix your style and write comments? And, you know, step by step, like be able to step me through the problem, and then I'll be able to help you better. Like, that's totally okay to do, right?
Exactly. You can't know everything. Is doing COMP1511 as a first year student okay?
Which one's 3?
Networks.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, you comment on it. I have done networks. It was a while ago, but I did it in late into second year.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with doing it in first year. I don't think it's.
But what, like the vibes?
Is it still in Python?
If you're interested in networks, it's okay.
Feels like
it is a lot of theory.
Circles. Okay.
It's a lot of theory.
Yeah, it's. I remember that you do have, when I did at least, you had to do like a coded assignment, but there was a lot of flexibility on how you do it. Like, you could even pick your own, like one of several languages to do it in. It's probably useful to have enough experience with, like, you know how to do something in like Python maybe, but then you don't really need to know too much else.
I heard on Reddit, which is apparently a very good
source of truth.
Source of truth. Lots of good fact checking happening on Reddit.
Is that where we host our forums now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Pop in. Good for a midnight browse. A bit of doom scrolling. That AI courses is kind of bad here. Is that true? And should I major in it?
I have not done any of the AI courses.
Neither have
so
I.
I can't comment. I've.
What are you auditing now?
I've started to audit the natural language processing course, but I haven't done very much. So as a PhD student, I can choose to like sit on some lectures and stuff, but I'm very far behind on that course. So what I've seen so far was good. The lectures are good.
I'm not listening.
But,
I'm not listening. I don't care.
I think it's a bit because from what I've heard from other people, which again not a very reliable source, no Reddit, from people who are taking the course, I think the reviews from a few years ago or even just last year are quite different to now. I think the lecturer may have changed or something. Or the way it's
the course has been redone.
Course is redone. Yeah.
And there's
That would change
2 new courses coming next year, which are like state of the art sort of stuff. So CSE is always seeing what's happening in industry and moving with it. It just takes a year to get a new course up and running. Sorry, I interjected. But that's okay.
Also, are you interested in AI?
Yeah. A big thing is like you might not want to just pick your major, like your stream based on, like do some electives. You can always pick your stream later on.
Yeah.
Do a couple of them, see if you like it. If you hate it, then you can switch to something else.
Difference between 152 and 1531.
They're very different.
Very different.
1521's like you learn about what makes C work, like a programming language. You learn a level lower than that, and so you get to look at assembly, you get to look at file systems and some other stuff. And then 1531, you get to do group work stuff. You learn about how do you manage like a coding project in a like an actual development scenario.
You build your like back-end API, so
it's about like workflows and stuff.
And testing and things like that.
And Git.
Yes.
Git good.
Yeah, where you learn how to do private repositories. How to get better at lead code C++.
Practice.
I don't do it in people. Yeah, it's just practice. I think the other thing is don't feel pressured to like churn out the answer completely by yourself first try. I think the best thing to do is, or at least how I learnt, was I would try it if I'm stuck. Like I give myself like a 10-minute buffer. This is like what I would sort of similar to the advice I was giving in the exam. But like give yourself a buffer. If you can't figure it out, look at the answer. Understand the answer. Try like produce the answer yourself based on what you've read, and then like revisit it a week later and try to do it completely by yourself, and just sort of keep that cycle until eventually you don't have to look at the answer at all. Yeah. And then, sorry, yeah. Oh, there are like roadmaps as well. I think the Neat Code roadmap is also really helpful because they pick out questions with common patterns that appear in other questions. So then once you've done those, most questions should be pretty achievable from there, I think, yeah.
I have a slightly tangential recommendation, which is if you're interested in like getting better at that kind of coding, it might be a little bit overkill, but there's some like competitive programming societies at UNSW, and we have a very good competitive programming course, which don't take it like next term, take it late in your degree, because it's a difficult subject, but you can get engaged with the communities like straight away. And that stuff, it's not directly the same as like Leak Code, but you're learning very similar skills. And honestly, if you get really good at the competitive programming stuff, it's overkill for Leak Code. You will be more than good enough to solve those problems.
Maybe, I don't know if it's a good like tip, but like I think doing 2521 at least before doing like some algos. Some algos like sometimes you're going to a Leak Code question, you're like, I can't do this, and you just don't know like a certain data structure or a certain algorithm. So like
Absolutely.
Because I think if you start too early, you'll sort of feel like you're rote learning, which Leak Code kind of is, but also if you take courses like 2521 and then 3121 is also really, really helpful. I think if you take those, and then I think you can get a lot more out of Leak Code than just brute force trying to answer as many as you can. Yeah.
Difference between CS degree and a software engineering degree.
No honours.
Yeah, you do honours or you don't do honours, but you can also do computer science with an honours.
CS, yeah.
I don't really know.
But it's a special enrollment.
Yeah.
This is the most commonly asked open day question.
I was software engineering.
I was computer science, and then I did a separate honours, which is different again.
Send you with extra steps.
Yeah, it is. You in software engineering, you have like compulsory workshops and stuff you have to do, which you don't do in computer science. You probably do more slightly more electives.
You get more electives in computer science than you do in software engineering.
But yeah, I think flexibility wise, CS is a lot more flexible. And here's the thing, like you can use your free electives on Senge courses, right? You just can't use your gen eds on them. But
I don't know. Yeah.
There's some exclusive workshops that I've you can't pick.
Okay, yeah.
But most of the stuff you can just pick.
Well, there's always like an equivalent, right? Somewhat equivalent.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not sure.
My first year was Senge, and it didn't impact my CS.
Yeah.
Did you swap to?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I did Desert 1000.
Yeah. I also did. Oh. Yeah. It was called Eng 1000. I think 1000.
Futures now.
Yeah.
What's the odds of my group of friends being put together in 15319?
I had that happen actually.
I don't remember the process.
Odds aren't high. Yeah.
You get to pick one partner, I think. Yeah. So pair up with a friend, and then maybe your friends.
Yeah, if your entire tutorials all your friends.
Yeah.
Then
there's probably a way you can game the form to try and get together. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's fine.
For the prac exam, are we going to mimic the exact exam environment, like we can't ask tutors for help during that time? I just want to make sure I optimize as much as I can during the lab time.
Only if you want to do that. When we say it's set up like the exam environment, we mainly mean the computers are set up in the same software environment that you'll get for the final exam. The labs themselves are still labs. You can still ask your tutor for help. You can still work on your assignment. We want you to try out the exam environment so there's no nasty surprises on the day of the exam, but you don't have to do the whole thing, a whole 3-hour exam in a 2-hour lab.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
And get used to the commands.
Yeah.
To how to submit stuff in the exam.
Submitting, auto testing, finding the course materials, the course websites available, I assume.
And I'd recommend opening your terminal inside the VS Code window, so you're not having to click between the other terminal. Yeah.
You can open the entire directory as well in VS Code.
Yeah, that's true, and you can see all the questions on the left-hand side. Yeah. That's nice.
What's a good number of questions to complete in the exam?
Whatever you're targeting.
Yeah, whatever you want. Minimum two.
Minimum two. One array and one linked list.
Yeah.
If you get stuck on one of the hurdles, have a go at the other one of the hurdles for that same topic.
But yeah, I don't think limit yourself to a number. just try to do as many as you can after the hurdles. Yeah.
Judge it based on how you do with the practice exam. Try the. I sometimes recommend like people take the practice exam because you can't do the whole thing in the lab. You can try it out in the lab and then take it home and do the whole thing at home in 3 hours. However many questions you complete there, try and work on that or like improve that or aim for that in the final exam.
I think having like a target in your mind, like you want to like get a credit, distinction or whatever, and then time yourself to be able to complete that many questions in the exam, in the practice exam. Time yourself.
Okay, it's getting perfect. We're getting to the end. I don't even know what's going on. I've stopped. Since the TLB is 3 hours, do we still have the 1 hour tutor? Do we just straight out do the 3 hour prac exam across the TLB?
You still have the 1 hour tute and then 2 hours for the practice exam.
Someone's at
Oh, sorry. Can we have a better keyboard in the lab? No, but you can have a wipe to wipe it down if it's disgusting. The kindness of it all. I think that's it. I think that's all we have time for. Oh no, quickly, one more. How much time should we allocate to each question? And are we allowed to ask for help on the EdSTEM forums in regards to questions from the practice exam? Those are 2 excellent questions.
For the second one, yes, you're allowed to ask us for help on the practice exam. For the first one, how much time? It depends how many questions you're aiming to answer. How many questions? There's 11 questions in 3 hours. What's the maths of that?
No, but the math doesn't quite work like that because like don't worry about question 10 and 11 or even question 9. I want everyone to do the first 4 questions and then maybe the next 4 if you've got time.
It depends what you're trying to. If you're trying to finish the entire exam, like you have to at least give yourself an hour for 45 minutes for the final question.
Yeah.
If you want to finish the entire exam.
Yeah.
Aim to allocate more time to the hurdles than the questions after. The hurdles are the most important.
Or I'd say if you want to do the math really quickly at the start of the exam, just split it by the marks and then multiply.
Yeah, the hurdles are worth more. That's good advice. And the last question is worth the least, even though it's the most work. All right, everyone. I think we've that's it. Good luck. Oh, look, it's just Holly now. Good luck in your exam. Good luck. Thank you all for joining in, and thank you to Enzo, Holly, and Ibby for answering your questions. That was really lovely of them. Thank you for taking the time. They're all amazing, and you can one day be like them by being a tutor.
Test? Yes, there is a hidden auto test, obviously.
There are hidden auto tests. Absolutely. That's why you can't hard code. Do not ever hard code. I hate seeing hard code.
0.
Thank you all. Good luck with your, good luck with your 1511 exam. I'll see you on the day. If you're not well, don't show up, please. I hope you're all, and thank you to you all. Thank you.
Good luck with your exam.
Good luck. Bye. Bye.